Hello, I am Shivam Banka, and this is another case study I'll be going through. The format of this case study is I'll go through an case study interview line by line and present my understanding while reading it and try to make sense of how the case study goes. Watching this will give you a sense of how a case study progresses and get you in the right mindsets. Plus, it will equip you with a with business lingo of how to present a case and what is expected of you in a case study. So today we are doing a case study, which is just a disclaimer. I have also not read the case. It's the first time I'll be reading it, and I'll be interpreting it as we go along. So today we have a case which is titled "Where Are the Organs?" Quite interesting. Okay. So all the blue ones are the interviewer and the white ones are the interview's responses. Okay, let's begin. Your client is HealthMed, pioneers in organ donation and related services since 1990. However, recently they are facing problems and are able to churn out profits. And they're able to help them identify the problems and solve. Okay, so very important. Usually people don't listen to this first sentence, but it is very important that the profits are going down and we have to identify the problem and solve it for them. That's it. And all other things is irrelevant. We just have to focus on figure out why the profits are going down and then solve them. I'd like to start by understanding the client a little better. Where is the client located and since when has the client been facing the decline in profits? Okay. So it's a good idea to pinpoint the problem to figure out where the problem is coming from. And for that, you need a little bit of location and the timeline where the problem started. So, good questions asked. The client is based in Delhi and provides pan-India services. They have been facing the decline in profits from the past 2 months. Okay. What all organs does the organization accept as donation? The organization deals in all kinds of organs. There is no specific list to which it confines itself. Has there been a change in the competitive landscape? Has there been a change in the competitive landscape of the donation industry? No, it has remained the same. Is the client conforming with all the government regulations regarding organ transplant? Yes, there are no issues in that regard. So what the person is trying to do is he's trying to figure out, is there an external factors which is influencing the reduce in profits for the client, or is that an internal factor? So these both the points is there where there is a competitor landscape or a government regulation which the client is not complying to. Those comes in the external factors. Uh, what does the client lie in the value? Oh, sorry. Where does the client lie in the value chain? Okay, I think now it's when the interviewee got a hint that there doesn't seem to be an issue with the external factors. Now he started focusing on the internal ones. And to understand that, he needs to understand where exactly does he lie in the entire value chain of organization. The client acts as a link between the organ donor and the patient who needs the organ. The client identifies an organ donor after which the correct patient who is in need of these organs is identified. Then the organs are harvested and are transported to the patient for immediate transplant. Okay. How are the organs transported to the patients in need? The organs are stored in a cold storage and the organs can be stored somewhere for 5 hours to 48 hours. Okay, okay. So a good approach is to break down the value chain part by part and then to figure out where the problem is coming from. So for that, first of all, he identified what the value chain is and where the client lies in it, and now what is exactly the procedure followed on ground, which is how are the organs transported to the patients in need. Okay, so the organs are stored in cold storage, and the organs can be stored for 5 to 48 hours. From 5 to 48 hours. Uh, we know that profits are a function of revenue and costs. So the decline in profitability must be due to a decline in revenue or increase in cost. Which side do you want me to explore first? Okay. So these are all good talks to understand a context of what the client is and how and what are the internal like external factors that can affect him. But the question is basically of profits, and profit questions are pretty much considered the most straightforward questions in a case study interview because you have the entire structure to break it down into, and then to figure out where the problem is coming from. So which is revenue and costs. So profits are we know the profits are coming from revenue clause to decline. To decline, dec- so the decline in profitability must be due to a decline in revenue or increase in cost. Which side do you want me to explore first? I would like to explore the revenue side first. Revenues are the products of quantity of sales and price. So has there been a change in either? The prices of the services have remained constant, but the number of patients who have successfully gotten organ transplants through our organization sub, has declined substantially. The decline in organ transplant can be due to the fall in demand or increase in supply. Uh, okay, so I would like to ask you if there has been a decline in number of patients needing organ transplant. Okay. Yeah, this doesn't make sense actually to state the fact that uh, decline, the decline in organ transplant is due to fall in demand or increase in supply. I think if there are more organ donors, that's a good uh, point for the organ trans for the company because it doesn't affect it doesn't lower the revenue for the company. The only way the revenue will be lowered if there is a fall in demand and people are not people are not uh, taking organs from this company. Okay, but let's see. No, there has been no substantial change in the number. Since there is no fluctuation in the demand side, I would like to analyze the supply side. Fair enough. Go ahead. Maybe I was wrong. Let's see what the conclusion is. Like you mentioned, the client identifies the organ donor and then looks for a patient who needs the organ transplant. I would like to know how the client identifies and maintains a database of the donors. Okay. So the fall in demand or increase in supply. So it's a good point that the company may not be able to identify more organ donors, and that's why they cannot service all the requests they have been getting. But that the word increase in supply is not right because it will be decrease in supply technically. So the statement just fits the description where there is a fall in demand or increase in supply, but in actually the supply is also getting decreased. That could be the only reason if this point is being explored further. Then go ahead. Uh, yeah. So yeah, the last thing the interviewee asked was, I would like to know how the client identifies and maintains a database of the donor. Okay. The client is in the tie-ups with the hospital chains all across India, and when the hospital identifies a suitable donor who has consented to the same, they approach the client who then initiates the due diligence. Okay. Has there been a decline in the number of organ donors? No, the number has remained the same. If the number of organ donors has remained constant, this means that there exists a problem in the process of getting the organs delivered to the patients. I would now like to analyze the number. Uh, I would like to. I would now like to analyze the same process step by step. Can I go ahead with the same? Yes, please go ahead. So pretty good actually that there is no external factors which are influencing it. It's all internal where the supply chain might not be that efficient as it was, or there's something which has been newly implemented which has gone wrong since the problem has started coming from the past 2 months. If the number of organ donors, okay. Yes, go ahead. So, have the hospital been facing any problems in contacting the client? No, there exists no problem at the stage. All right, then is there a problem in matching the organ donors with the patient? Yes, there has been a massive slowdown in this step of the process. How does the client match the organ donors with the patient? The client has an internal portal developed in-house in which the data of the organ donor is fed, which in turn automatically matches the donors available for transplant to the patients with who can use said organs. Has the slowdown been because of the portal? Yes, the portal was introduced about 3 years ago and has been facing several glitches and long downtime since the past 2 months. Were the glitches because of the newer version of the portal or any updates? Yes, you're spot on. There has been a recent update in the portal. All right, since we have discovered the costs of the fall in revenue, I would like to suggest changes to fix the same problem. Go ahead. I would suggest I would like to suggest two solutions for the client. The client should revert back to the version of the portal where the glitches were not being faced. The client should consider outsourcing the portal development to a specialized IT team, since the client's pipeline is highly time sensitive and should not face any slowdown. So solutions and recommendations is always straightforward. It's nothing magical. The main goal or the main thing for a case study interview, or generally when you practice solving problem for the client, is mainly identifying the problem, because solutions, when once you identify the right problem, solutions is the first thought which comes in your head. Perfectly, we can go ahead concluding most of the cases. Okay, let's see what are the analysis of this case presented in this case study book. So case fact overview: the organ donor company facing declining profits. Uh, Industry scenario: problem specific to the company. Period of decline since 2 years. Was it 2 months? It's 2 months. Okay, it's 2 months. Change in regulation: none. Cause of decline: newer version of an in-house development portal facing multiple glitches. Okay. Uh, Recommendation: revert back to the version of portal wherein the glitches weren't present. Outsourcing portal development to a specialized IT firm. Now, on points: uh, acknowledgement of special cases for organ requirements. Was that acknowledgement of special cases for organ requirements? I mean, it's a time sensitive issue. That's a good information to have. But there's no acknowledgement of special cases for organ requirements. Maybe acknowledging that it's a very time sensitive issue. So uh, that could be a good going on. But yeah. Uh, okay. So the chart is pretty straightforward how a profit chart flows. So profits, revenue, and costs. Cost has no issues. Uh, or maybe it was not discussed. It started with revenue and in the first place. Uh, yeah. So cost was not discussed, so it started with revenue. So uh, as directed by our interviewer. So revenue price is not the issue. Volume was an issue. There was no issue with demand side. There was issue with supply side. Decline in number of organ donors was not an issue. Problems in process of getting organs to the patient was an issue. And then we solved it after that. Okay, so that was the case, you guys, and I hope you got a gist of how a case study went, and I was able to explain a bit of a structure while the interview was responding of why he's responding in this way and what is that he's trying to get out of the interviewer and how is he's trying to direct the interview as a whole. So yeah, have a good day. Thanks for watching.